A Columbia lab says it has the capacity to test up to 20,000 samples for COVID-19 a week, but says it's lacking essential materials. ABC 17's Zach Boetto is live in Columbia tonight. Zach, the president of that lab tells you there is actually a shortage of test swabs.
Deb, Lucas, this right here is a COVID-19 test kit. Now inside of it is a swab like this and a tube with a liquid that is used to transport specimen. Now, these materials were faulty, so the lab gave them to me to use for this shot, but the lab said that they can test up to 20,000 of these swabs per week. However, they don't have access to these essential materials in the same capacity.
We have some limitations right now. I don't believe most of it's in the actual testing capacity. Most of it right now is in collection kits and their availability.
Gene Trait Laboratories in Columbia is responsible for roughly 10,500 COVID-19 test results so far and has the capacity to test up to 20,000 COVID-19 samples per week. But officials from the lab say they're lacking in essential materials. Michelle Beckwith, the vice president of Gene Trait Labs, says right now there is a shortage in test swabs, but their team is working to get their hands on as many as possible.
We've been trying to find a way to supply between 7,000 and 10,000 swabs a week. That would allow the hospitals to at least have some flexibility to screen people that they feel like needed to be screened.
Gene Trait Laboratories works closely with MU Health and has a location in Columbia. Dr. Detlef Ritter, the medical director of the clinical laboratories at MU Healthcare, says the lab has been a huge help since it started testing in March, but screening and testing must increase.
What I believe has to occur is an increased capacity of clinical testing of asymptomatic people.
Today in his state address, Governor Mike Parson said increasing testing is part of the Show Me Strong recovery plan. And on Twitter, he said the state is aiming to hit 40,000 to 50,000 tests per week, which will provide data and confidence for him to fully reopen Missouri. Kim Gorman, the president of PTC Laboratories, says she thinks the state can hit that number.
So I think that's a very feasible goal if we can obtain swabs. That's the major barrier right now, is being able to get swabs to actually test.
And Deb, Lucas, Michelle Beckwith, the vice president, told me when they started testing these COVID-19 kits back in early March, roughly 5% of those tests were coming back positive. Now that the tests have increased, they're seeing around 7% of those tests come back positive. Reporting live outside of the news station, Zach Boetto, ABC 17 News.
All right, great information there, Zach. And officials from Gene Trait Labs said the faulty order of KN95 masks that were delivered to Missouri affected the speed in which they are receiving necessary materials from other countries.